G'day folks, this is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we're doing a bull mob drive. We got 74 of them coming right over that hill here in a second. I heard them bellowing a minute ago. It's a really leisurely drive. They're all just walking. Connor and Isaac and Ben are walking behind them, and we're bringing them about a mile. I hear a car coming now. That's okay, we're almost here. We only got 200 more yards. And I got 3 big stout young men back there blocking. And the person coming is our neighbor, so she's kind of used to it. It's not a stranger. It is the day of our grazing school tomorrow. This is Wednesday. And so we got a nice group coming. Jan is our blocker this morning. Say hi, Jan.
Morning.
She's making sure no traffic comes this way. And these are our little teepee. We always put blue posts in the middle of the road so the bulls or the cows can see the blue better than they can the white. I'm kind of going over to blue on the O'Brien post. They seem like the UV on them's better. They don't get quite as brittle as quickly. And so we're going to pretty much all blue. And the other good reason to have blue is in the wintertime on snow, the blue posts show up 50 times better than white posts do. So we're kind of transferring all over to blue. Oh, come on, you bellowing boogers. They sound like a bunch of lions. Come on. Woo! I'll get up here in the field so I'm not blocking the gate. This is the paddock that we were in about 22 days ago. And it's one of our lease farms. There's 240 acres in here. And it's got about 160 of its timber up on that hill where we turkey hunt and deer hunt. Cut a little firewood. And the rest of this is all savanna type silvopasture. We've cleared a lot of brush. And the bulls are starting to lose their hide, their hair coat. Some of them are getting smooth up on the neck and the butt. Boy, they've really put the weight on, my goodness. We moved them last night and they were so full that half of them wouldn't even get up. They wouldn't even get up. They were so full, they just laid there. Boy, here comes a chunk of meat. Somebody asked me, well, how big do your bulls get, Greg, when they're mature? Well, here's a mature one. He's 4 at 763, and he's nothing but just a block of meat. He's got a young bull picking on him. I don't think you want to pick on that bull. Now there's 2 picking on the big one. But he's just a chunk of meat. That's kind of bull, give you some beautiful heifers turn into grass genetic cows. There's a few scurr bulls in here, but boy, they're pretty good. Look at that guy. He's got a scurr on one side, but boy, he's a dandy. Oh, 17's a nice one. We did have a bad deal happen. We were semen testing these bulls last week, and one of them got hurt in the chute. I don't know, he got his foot caught, and it's not broke, but he's limping on it. Where's he at? Well, he was limping on it. I don't know, we're keeping an eye on him, and we're hoping he gets better. If he doesn't, we're going to steer him. But he came out of that chute, and his left hind foot, there's no swelling on it. It's just like he maybe pulled the tendon, or there wasn't any blood, so he didn't cut it. Well, there's a beautiful bull. Man, oh man, oh man. They can't make him much better than that one. 87, you look like you're just showing off. See the air between the belly and the ground? There isn't hardly any. That's grass genetics, folks. You've got a lot of air between the belly and the ground. That's grain genetics. Those will work good in a feedlot, but they don't do so good out on grass. They'll eat your grass, but they're just not going to get fat. They're not going to get any finish put on them. It'd take you probably 3 years to get one finished on grass if you've got, 4 foot of leg on them. The other thing about these animals is the bone structure on the rear hind legs. In the front, there's that bull. He is limping. Yep. See him when he walks. It's his left hind foot. Boy, he's a good-looking young bull too. Yeah, when you're in the livestock business, folks, sometimes they get hurt. I hope he gets better, but I don't know. It's been a week, and he's still limping pretty good. So I don't know. He may have a tendon that he popped or something, kind of like an ACL on an athlete, or something. I don't know, but boy, these bulls have really got some good food here. This is one of our newer farms, folks. This has had hay unrolled on it, and we brought Johnny in here and made a lot of silvo pasture around the edge, cleaned off a lot of the brush. I cleared this with a chainsaw and my little Kawasaki mule. That was back in 2015. So this farm's 6 years. But look at it. This was all cedars. This whole ridge was 100% cedars. And Johnny pushed out all the stumps this last winter. This is where we took some of those stump videos. We can see right there is where a stump was at. Hasn't filled back in all the way yet. But once we had Johnny push out all the stumps, there is some remnants of broom sedge. You can see it. Well, there's none up here. You got to kind of look around to find it. But we brought in a lime truck and we put down a little bit of lime on here, about 3 tons per acre. And it really, I can just tell, the clovers are so much thicker now and lush. pH on this, well, when you cover a farm in eastern red cedar and it drops all those needles on there, you can expect that you're going to have acidic soil. And with acidic soil, acid soil down 6 and below 6, low 5s, you're not going to grow many clovers. This farm still has a lot of rough stuff on it, some autumnalies. We're going to work on some of these. There's enough trees in here. We don't really need the autumn olive bushes for shade, and so we're gonna put some pressure on them. Just take a little time. We'll get them. It's kind of neat to take a piece of property like this and just work with it. I had an older fellow. His name is actually our lifetime leases owner's dad. And his nickname was T.E. Real name was Tom. But T.E., I put him in my mule and took him out. And he was in his 80s, mid-80s. He might have been early 90. Anyway, T.E. lived over here in this ruck area. He retired up here for 20 years, him and his wife Dee. And they had a piece of property over here, and it looked a lot like what we're looking at back in there. It was really brushy, and they worked on that thing for 20 years, and when he got done with it, it was beautiful. He cut trees and he burned the stumps out and he worked at it, and it just was just gorgeous. But I brought him on this farm when I first leased it, and it was still pretty rough. It had a lot of cedars on it, and I remember stopping up on this hill over here, and he looked out over the farm and he goes, "Greg," he said, this is the kind of farm that a man could kind of get his hands into, He said, this is the kind of farm you can always make better. Just get out here with a chainsaw and a fire and get rid of some of these cedars. You'd be surprised. And I always remember that, and that's probably the last time, well, it is the last time I ever saw T.E. And he lived to be in his mid-90s, and his wife Dee is still going, and she's 97. So Macaulays have pretty good genetics in their genes, so that's pretty cool. But I'll always remember that quote, you know, this is the kind of farm a man could get his hands into. That was just a quote from Tom, and I can tell you more Tom stories at another time, but he was a neat old guy, and just had his ways, and that's just the way Tom was. But he was a nice old fella and raised a large family, and I don't know how they did it, but he did it. And he's got some good kids to show for it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. We got to get going on the grazing school preparation. We got our mob bull drive done today. The boys moved the cow mob this morning, and everything's going really slick. So we're anticipating more rain next week, and so this is really going to get with it. And we got to get these bulls moving, and the cows are about 30 days behind them. So the cow mob. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and everyone new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see you all down the road.